Welcome to John Esser Sports Channel, and today we're doing the second half of the Championship Week 32 video. Predictions for Section B, Bristol City, Plymouth, Swansea, Blackburn, Sunderland and Sheffield United and West Brom. So we will go straight in with Bristol City versus Stoke City. Now, we have to look at we do have to look at the table. Bristol City, remember, are in 9th position. Stoke City in 18th. Not too dissimilar to where I was thinking they would be at the beginning of the season. Why is that? Well, Stoke City, they did have a bit of an issue with that defence. Couldn't quite see where they were going to score either. However, they've been scoring quite well on occasion. And the last game out probably shows you that, doesn't it? 3-3 draw in the FA Cup against Cardiff. And they did play really well. They lost on penalties, but they do have our ex-goalkeeper in the net. Sorry, he was really good at Rotherham. Let's have a look with Bristol City. Sorry, lose, draw. I didn't mean to do that. Don't give me a dislike for it. Comment underneath if you want. Lose, draw, win, draw, lose. I'm a Rotherham fan from League One, remember. The only win they've had in the last 6 is Blackburn at home, 2-1. Bristol City did play really well there. They've actually played well in more than that, though. I thought they played well at the Sheffield Wednesday. They did really, really do well at Wednesday, I thought. However, they don't seem to be getting the results every time they play really well. But they're not getting the results when they don't play well, which, again, you have some teams like Blackburn who seem to be able to play not that well and still get the points. It's not like that with Bristol City. They seem to, if they play not so well, they seem to either get a draw or they lose the game. Turn up sometimes, not turn up sometimes. I think that's still part and parcel of a Bristol side somehow. Stoke City, win, draw, lose, draw, win, draw. They can let goals in like a sieve. They can score goals and their back line be really good. I still think that back line needs sorting out, and I'm sorry, but our Victor Johansson that you got from us does pull off some pretty awful corkers at the back. I've seen him pull some really dreadful rollouts of the ball to the opposition striker from the back line, which was like, why the hell have you given it to him? This is going to be a difficult one for me. I want to support my old keeper, Victor Johansson. I still think he's got a damn good future and he can play really well. He's just not been playing so good for Stoke City from what I've seen. Can do better. I hope he does, but I don't think it's going to be today. Bristol City 2, Stoke City 0. And we'll move on to Plymouth. Now, Plymouth, obviously, everybody's talking about that last win, aren't they? Everybody's saying, oh, look, remember, Plymouth 1, Liverpool 0. And actually, the stats, I think at one point I saw this after they just scored, and it was Liverpool had one shot on target. Literally one shot on target. And you're thinking, oh, they've had loads of shots, but only one on target. And you're thinking, that Plymouth defence and midfield have contracted into a sort of blockade at the back. And it really, really worked. And they won the game. Why can't they do that in the league? Why can't they do it in the league? It would have made perfect sense for the 30 games up to now to have done that, wouldn't it? Because it worked against a Premier League side, and it would probably have worked in a lot more sides than what the game plan that they've been using. That aside, Plymouth, draw, lose, draw, win, win against West Brom, win against Liverpool, a draw against Sunderland the last draw, 2-2. 6 games ago, 1-1 against Oxford. 2 defeats, QPR and Burnley. We'll forgive them for Burnley, however it was 5-0 that they lost. You know, when they lose, they can really, really get sorted. But it tends not to be at home. Burnley 5-0 defeat at home. That is really weird. It's a one-off for me. I'm not. Plymouth usually play really well at home, scoring 2 or 3. However, they seem to, because by getting rid of Rooney, they seem to have stopped this ability to do well always at home. And they just seem to. Although Liverpool was at home, win. West Brom was at home, win. They're not as consistent at home, perhaps is the best way of putting it. Millwall, on the other hand, have been playing really well at home. Then they started playing well away, but not at home. Weird thing that's happening at Millwall. It really is. But now with a change, what are we seeing with a change from the management side at Millwall? Lose, draw, win. Oh, and the last time out, by the way, a win away at Leeds in the FA Cup. Now, this tells me that something's happened at Millwall, and they are actually starting to play damn good football. The last 4 games, 3 of them were clean sheets. I think that's pretty good, and I'm pretty impressed by it. And to beat Leeds, I have to say, Plymouth 1, Millwall 2. And we move to Swansea versus Sheffield Wednesday. And Swansea, to me, I think it's best looking at the league position. Sheffield Wednesday 11th. However, they've got 5 teams within 3 points above them. If we take one of only 3 teams within 3 points below them, so and they have been a little bit higher than that. I think they've been sort of touching distance of 6th place, whereas Swansea they were down near the bottom, then they sort of like pushed their way up, and then they seem to lose their way a little bit. They're in 16th. They're not so far away, but. Lose. A win narrowly 1-0 away at Bristol City, and I think they nicked that one rather than anything else. They've been okay performances to me. They've been not that bad. Even the Norwich 5-1 defeat away, I don't think they played horrendous. I don't think 5-1 was really fair, but they just seem to not quite tick as well as what Norwich did. Sheffield Wednesday, up and down, aren't they? They've had a poor period. Then they did really well, surged up. They're thinking they're going to get into the playoffs here. They could finish above Sheffield United, and I still think they might do. However, it would need another blip from Sheffield United, and I think we're not quite out of the last one. Draw, lose, draw, win, draw, lose. It's pretty mixed bag of anything here. The only win was QPR 2-0 away from home. Sheffield Wednesday, well, they're away from home again. Perhaps they can do well, but they have been playing better at home. Absolutely, the fans have taken them across. The fans can't be faulted for their support at home. The noise levels are really good. I just can't see. I can't see Swansea breaking this 5 defeats and 1 win out of the last 6. I'm going to go Swansea 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1, and I am a Rotherham fan, so that does hurt. I'm going for a Sheffield Wednesday win. Oh, what am I going to do next? We're going to quickly move on to the next game, which is Burnley versus Hull. Burnley Hull. Now, Hull City draw, and I am doing this on purpose. I'm going for the away side, Hull City. Draw, win, lose. You know, they're sort of like getting it together, aren't they? They're just starting to like pull out of there, and they're 29 points in 21st position, one game in hand. You know, they one win, and they're almost sort of looking back, thinking, hey, we can look forward instead of looking back. We can actually look at trying to get safe by a few points. And hopefully that would drive this team into playing a little bit better. Will it? I'm not quite sure. They're playing a Burnley side that have been pretty good, haven't they? Draw, win, win. FA Cup win against Southampton. Very good game. That I think they were under the cosh a lot more than I thought they would be. I thought that Burnley would actually win this one, or at least be able to get to 90 minutes with a 0-0 or 1-1. They actually won it, and I thought they did really well in defence, didn't they? Let's face it, they weren't as attacking as Southampton. However, Oxford United, they played well there. Portsmouth, they actually played really well at Portsmouth. Portsmouth, though, played really well themselves. 0-0 was probably a good result, but actually Portsmouth should have won that game. But Burnley got away with it. A few empty nets, a couple of empty nets Portsmouth missed. But on the whole, I think that I'm seeing a side that's perhaps not as good as it was at the beginning of the season, but it's still pretty classy, and it's still able to pull out that 5-0 away win against Plymouth, and a decent 0-0 home draw against Sunderland. So and the Southampton win, of course. So I think that they're probably my favourites here, but only just. I think Hull City will push them all the way, and Hull City could get a draw from this, absolutely. But I think that, and the fact that Burnley are at home, I can't look past that. Burnley 1, Hull City 0, maybe 1-1, but we'll have a look at that as it comes up. Sunderland versus Luton next. Sunderland, obviously, 4th position. Luton in 23rd. Luton don't seem to be. I mean, I tell you what, Sunderland's downside this season seems to be draws. The ones that they draw that they shouldn't have drawn. So if anything, you could see a draw here, absolutely out of the blue, and I wouldn't put it past Luton to suddenly shut up shop and bang, you've got a draw. The reason is Sunderland win, draw, win, draw, win, draw. Luton win, lose, draw, lose, draw. Can you see what's coming? A draw. I can see a 1-1 draw. Absolutely. Not going to go for a 1-1 draw. I think Sunderland have too much firepower. They're too used to putting the ball in the back of the net. Their conversion rates are pretty good. I think that Sunderland will probably walk this one, especially at the Stadium of Light. Look, there have been a few shocks at the Stadium of Light this season. Don't get me wrong. I just can't see it being this particular game. I'm going to go Sunderland 3, Luton 0. I just cannot see it being this game that's a shock. There has been ones, but I can't see this one. We're going to a low-scoring game now, and I really do think this is going to be low-scoring. Sheffield United haven't been enamoured with high-scoring wins, have they? 4 wins out of their last 6. 2-0 at home to Norwich, 2-1 away to Swansea, 1-0 away to Derby, and 2-1 away at Portsmouth. And even then, I think that Portsmouth should have really come away with something from that. I think they would have been pretty downhearted when they came away with nothing. Did look like they'd come away with something, a battling performance down there, but they didn't. Sheffield United, they are playing really well, absolutely. But draw, lose, win, lose. They just don't seem to be. To me, that back defence seems to occasionally do the most stupid things. I mean, I've seen them with like 3 at the back, and then the opposition just runs straight through it, and you think, oh, you've got 3 defenders running back after the opposition striker. So you've got 3 defenders as the opposition striker and your goalie, and it's like, oh great, we're just giving him one-on-one against the... And like the number of times they do that, either dead down the middle, but sometimes on the wing. And you think, you've not been watching the game. The defence can be so haphazard, and it's not what I'm used to from Borough. And as much as I'd like to see Borough do well, I don't think that that they can overpower this staunch Sheffield United side, which can keeps the opposition from scoring too many goals and score 1 or 2 more, usually 1, and win the game. They win the game by such little margin, Sheffield United. Sheffield United 1, Borough 0, another small margin. Can't see it being much more than that. Well, last game is West Brom versus Blackburn. Blackburn have so long had the run of the green, and eventually it's turned. I mean, it has to turn, doesn't it? You don't always get the run of the green all the way through a full season, for surely to God. West Brom, they're at the Drawthorns. However, it's not really been the Drawthorns of late, has it? In the last 6 games, we've had 1, 2, 3 games at home. Only one's been a draw. That was Stoke City, 1-1. Directly after a defeat to Bournemouth in the FA Cup, 5-1. So that may have sort of got that mental downturn going a little bit. So lose, draw, lose, win. It's sort of not too bad. Portsmouth 5-1 was out of the blue, wasn't it? I really didn't see that one coming. And I don't really think it was really a 5-1 game, but they made it into one. Absolutely amazing. Blackburn, lose, win, lose. Now, okay, the last one was 2-0 against Wolves, but they did actually play really well. I will say they played well against Wolves, and I think they played reasonably well against QPR when they lost 2-1. They didn't play that well in their win against Preston. I thought that 2-1 win could quite easily have been the opposite way round. I really don't think that was a great game for them. Personally, if you don't like what I'm saying, then don't just give me a dislike. Give me a comment underneath and say what you thought to that game. But I thought that was really another one of those. They got the run of the green on that day, and think decisions went their way that would often be 50-50, and they'd go straight to the Blackburn side, which I thought was a little bit disconcerting. They've had all that luck all through the season, and they get it again at against Preston. But they're not doing very well, and they seem to be on a downturn. I think it's going to turn really, really soon. This game, perhaps. Next game, perhaps. I think it could be this game that starts Blackburn's resurgence. However, West Brom are also doing really well, and they're starting to pick up a little bit more of a performance base. Yeah, the performance is better, from the West Brom side, certainly over the last 2 or 3 games. I'm going to go West Brom 2, Blackburn 2. I can see both of them improving, and I can see them both doing really well. But they're both capable of scoring 1 or 2 goals, and they're both capable of letting 1 or 2 goals in. And I don't see them strengthening up in those positions either. So I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw. Please don't just click. I keep saying it, but I get a few of you just opening up this and then clicking dislike and then turning straight off. Hopefully you don't do that. If you get this far, do like and subscribe. If you don't like what I'm saying, whack a comment in down below and I'll respond to it. And like you've seen at the beginning, if I think I've got something wrong, I'll admit to it. John Essex Sports Channel over and out for another prediction. This time, Championship Week 32, Section B. Like and subscribe. See you again at the watch-alongs.